What is real and what is a delusion? A question that Chaos Child throughout this entire anime has really posed, and it's something that I feel like is executed beautifully, because in this episode, there is a very good use of making the viewer think that something real is happening, when in reality it is all in the character's head. Our main character heads to the theater to confront his father, but also Serika, and it's really, really beautifully done, as the way they present the scene is he throws the lollipop that was given to him, and it shows that he can levitate things with his mind. And then he enters and he sees the one he's looking for, the character, the person that he made in his mind, and he's confronting because her motive is supposedly she is here to protect him, but as soon as she was made, she killed his real parents, his biological parents. So that immediately goes against what she was built for, so what is her true motive? And she basically says that she has to kill him, there's no way to protect him, and that she would see him on the other side. And Taku ends up strangling her, killing her in a brutal and horrible way, and then it snaps back into reality. His father, his adoptive father, was doing that in his mind. He forced a delusion into his mind, and if he would have allowed her to kill him, his mind would have crumbled and he would have died. But because he killed her, as sick as it is, it snapped him from the delusion. Onoe didn't have that same ability. She didn't have the ability to let Taku die. She was willing to let Taku kill her, and in doing so, her mind broke and she died. The way that was directed, because I honestly believed, I was like, this is a real scene, just the way they built up the scene, holy shit, he killed her. No, it was all a delusion. So to see when he drags her body and says, yeah, she's dead, she just couldn't kill you in her mind, that's hard hitting. I mean, it was sad last week, and this isn't nearly as sad as the past that we saw last week, but still, the directing, phenomenal. Directing seriously on point. The way they actually handled that scene, the way they were able to convey the sense of realism, like you believe this was a real scene happening, to then have that reality shattered to show if you would have let her kill you, you would have died. But she didn't have that same resolve that you had because you're a sick motherfucker. To see how much Taku is breaking, to see how much he has lost his mind is insane. And some people sure may not be a fan of the D-Sword battle that is happening, and the final episode is going to be sort of the boss fight, but because there has been so much development and growth for the characters and just how much of a focus they actually put on the story rather than just the D-Swords, because they are an important aspect to the story. Because of how much they've balanced everything, I'm fine with it, unlike when it was Chaos Head, because Chaos Head, it became just a weird shonen. Like, honestly, that's how I felt with the battles. It's just like, everyone's fighting, everyone has the power. But no, in the case of actually Chaos Child, I think they've done a beautiful job. I think, you know, there was some animation dips. There definitely was some animation dips. The eyes were looking a little wonky, but I think the directing was so on point, it's perfectly acceptable. I've seen people say how confusing the series is from, I assume, anime originals, because I wouldn't expect a visual novel player to say that because they have the source material, they've experienced the source material, so they know exactly. But when you look at, say, Crunchyroll or things like that, I mean, this is a pretty hated series. I mean, this is not a very praised series. I think I'm probably one of the few people on YouTube who really love this series. Like, I love this series a lot. But I can't really understand how this is confusing. I mean, sure, it's not spoon-feeding you information, but it still explains everything. But even in the case of this episode, I do feel like it was spoon-fed. Because, I mean, Taku's adoptive father says exactly, like, that was a delusion, you broke free. Hey, if you wouldn't have killed her, you would have had your mind broke. Oh, and also she didn't have the same resolve. So everything was kind of spoon-fed this episode, but it was directed in such a way that it doesn't feel as spoon-fed as it actually was. But as a whole, like, as long as you pay attention to the series, I think it's very well done. But I thought, I mean, this was a great episode, I thought. I mean, there's gonna be haters, there's gonna be visual novel haters, anime originals who just may not have understood it, but I thought from the directing to just really how much of what is real and what is fake, how they presented the idea this episode, I thought was very strong. And once again, I think this is one of the stronger episodes of the series, and I'm really excited to see how the hell they wrap this series up, as I believe next week is the final episode. There might be 13 episodes, but I'm pretty sure this is a 12-episode series. But either way, I'm excited to see what happens next week. But for anyone who watched this episode, did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it was just okay? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care. Have a good one.